got time, grab a seat, snack in hand, set to geek. Tastic heroes on the screen, dream it up, breathe the scene. G.I. Joe on the table, new ideas on the way. Paint and polish on the cable, every single Tuesday Toy Talk. We're dialing in, building up worlds with a crazy grin. 3D printing, custom paint on the go. Tuesday Toy Talk, crank it up loud. Geek Customs leading the crowd. Oh yeah, Tuesday Toy Talk. Ready, set, play. Toy time every Tuesday Toy Talk.
Hey guys, GI Customs here. I appreciate everyone joining up for a special Tuesday Toy Talk. I know I said initially it'll be every other week, but we had someone jump in here that I just couldn't say no to, so we switched things up a little bit. Before we get started on that, however, I do want to remind everybody, first of all, the 10% off on my site that happens during the live stream. Make sure to take advantage of that. I will make sure that it is up there and ready to go, but it should last through the live stream and a little after. You'll have plenty of time to take advantage of it, so don't feel the need to go and rush over there. Also, just starting this week, you should see now memberships in the YouTubes. So you guys can now be members. You will get member-only videos that are already up, actually, and also we'll have some member-exclusive streams, behind-the-scenes kind of stuff as time goes on. So make sure to take advantage of that. And you can do super chats and all that good stuff. I'll do my best to get to all that, but having never done it before, give me a little grace. So without any further ado, as I hope you guys have seen on my Instagram and social medias, I do have a very special guest today. Everybody, please welcome ACE of Ramen Toys.
Thank
Chad. Thank you very much for coming.
Thanks for having me on the show
so much. Yeah. How's the weather over there?
It's much warm compared to what I experienced earlier in the month or late last month in Frankfurt. It was like -2, and then I was in Toronto, -20, I think. No,
-20?
14, sorry.
Wow.
-14, yeah.
Either way, once it gets past like -5, I mean,
it doesn't matter, right?
Cold. Yeah, it's just cold. Yeah. So a little nicer there. Today, beginning of this week, it was -6 here, and then today it was 52.
There
we had like a 60-degree jump. It's fantastic. Yeah.
That's good.
So all kinds of crazy. And I'm just going to jump in here and do this stuff as we go. So I want to thank Patrick here for becoming my first YouTube member. Thank you very much, sir. All right, guys, I'm going to start asking some questions and stuff as people trickle in here. If you have questions, feel free to pop them in the chat, and I will get to them as I can in between things. Or if you want to wait till the end, we will have a specific question and answer segment at the end, so you can just kind of wait till there if I don't get to it, or if you ask a question and I don't see it, I don't answer it, ask it again at the end. We're just going to get right into it, unless there's anything else you want to chime in with here, Ace, about anything?
No, the floor is all yours.
All right. Well, so I've watched a few different streams that you've been on and have a little idea of your background. I love the story of where ramen toys came from. That was going to be one of my questions, but I think the last one, I forget whose channel you're on. Maybe it was your own. Somebody asked what it was, and that explanation was great. So I wanted to skip on to what got you into the toy space. Like, where did you start, and then how did you get to where you are?
Well, I was pretty much forced into doing what I'm doing today because as a young man, after finishing my national service, so the national service is a compulsory 2-year military vocation for Singaporean males who's reached the age of 18. And, after that, when you come out, you're a, freshman, you got to enter the world. You got to start to contribute to the workforce in Singapore. And I try to do that by being an insurance agent of all things, because I studied actually mechanical engineering, right? So
Okay.
not the brightest kid in school, not the scholar kind. I made my way through, and then I just managed to do like a tertiary education in mechanical engineering. No university for me, not a uni grad. So once I'm out in the workforce, I just stumbled upon a insurance agent that got me into the business. But after taking all the tests and passing those, I couldn't get a single sale. Right? I bought the shirts, the ties, the name cards, the computers, the printers, everything, you name it. Right? And then there was no sale. So what do? I went back to look at my storeroom, and then I just looked at my model kits and my toys from when I was young. And then there was such thing called eBay, right? So eBay was the so-called savior, right? Put
Hmm.
my stuff up on eBay to sell. Basically anything and everything sold during that time in the early 2000s. So
Okay.
from then I just basically never looked back. I was just in toys. Of course, there was up and down, right? So when I was on the up, I was basically doing uh, weekend flea markets in Singapore. So in Singapore, we have weekend flea markets. It occurs every Sunday from like 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I was there setting up a little table, selling my stuff, and then on the weekdays I would be just doing eBay, going to the post office, sending off parcels, and that was it, right? Of course, in between I was making my trips to Japan to top up the supply, and then when things was good, I set up a shop in Singapore. But that only lasted 2 years because again, you get to be faced with the reality of doing a business, right? It's not just as if you want to do a shop, it's going to work out. You got rent to
Yeah.
pay, you got to make sure that the sales are coming. So during 2 years of doing the shop, I didn't figure that I was going to make it. So I uprooted myself and went to Hong Kong, and I worked for a while for a toy online e-commerce site, and I was doing the merchandiser role for that company. And then the company soon started to make its own it started to go into the licensing business by making some IPs, getting some licenses, and then from then I was able to get in touch with the factories because I was there assisting with prototyping and stuff like that. And why do I do that? Because I had a background in scale modeling. So as a teen, I was doing scale models. So I knew about the airbrush, I knew about the colors, I knew about the weathering. So I was able to contribute to the company in terms of making like prototype and stuff. So fast forward a few years, I started on my own back in, I would say, 2014. So it's like almost 20 years now, more than 20 years. So yeah, I've been just doing this all my life. Yeah.
All good. That's really cool. That's what got me into this was I found my old GI Joes and I was laying them out to sell them and started reminiscing about all the different characters and talking to my wife. She's like, "You sure you want to sell these?" Like, yeah, we'll sell them, and ended up putting them up and then taking them back down. Like, maybe I'll just put them on the wall. And now I've got way too much behind me. So it is grown quickly, which is great because I'm having a fun time. So nothing wrong with that. So
Right.
I understand that side of started with what you had and then just kind of grew into something before you knew it.
Hmm.
Yeah. What in the past that you have produced of ramen do you like the most and why?
Well, that's a loaded question because it's always like asking. Like I remember this question was posed to Jerry Seinfeld, I think, when we was asked which was his favorite episode. So everyone is his babies, right? So
This is baby. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, so everything is good, but of course we always want to improve on our previous project. So when you have a project, you give your heart and soul. You think that is the best that you've done, and then when it's out, you find out all the flaws and imperfections, and then you want to improve on the next one. So I think
Sure.
to date, what is most captivating? I would just rank them not in any order. I would say the
Fair enough.
Marshall. The Marshall looks pretty good because
Okay.
of the sculpt, the finishing, the coloration, the articulation, and then of course we have the Great White, which is quite a marvel of engineering, right? Able to get all the transformation done in that car. and of course Ramen Racer, because that actually put us on the map in terms of 1/12 scale vehicles. So yeah, there's still many stuff that we're working on that I'm sure will be even my favorite after this. But in the meantime, those are like the top three. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great answer. I understand. They're all. It's like picking your favorite kid. I
Yeah.
get that. Yep. And they're always I feel like it's the same as it's your favorite when you're doing it, and then you move on, and like you said, the next one is a notch
Yeah.
above because you've learned, you've improved, and all the stuff. So that's fantastic. I love it. What and you said the Ramen Racer got you kind of on the map in the 1/12 scale. Were
Yeah, I think
you
so.
were you always aiming to go into the 1/12 scale market, or did that just kind of happen? Of it was a gap you wanted to fill, or
Well, to be very honest, we set out to be a third party 80s nostalgia sort of,
okay,
products. So that's why the 80s commanders, right? Centurions,
mm-hmm.
Marshall, Brave Star, stuff like that, Silverhawks. So that was the initial goal. But as we always evolve. So we evolve and basically cater to what our fan base wants. So when we were looking at the infamous Engine of Vengeance campaign, we were looking at that and then seeing that, oh, there's actually a market for these things. And since it's not funded, then could we actually cater to that market? So it's not as if I was setting out to make 1/12 scale vehicles. Rather, it was me just getting a feel of the pulse of what the community, the fan base, what they want, and then doing my best to, serve that demand, right? Because what
Sure,
is a business but supplying the demand? So
yeah,
basically, that was how we evolved into just doing the vehicles.
absolutely. Is that do you enjoy doing those vehicles, or I mean, not? I guess not. Enjoy isn't the right word. Do you look forward to doing those, or is there a lot of headache that comes with them, with licensing or different things that you gotta work your way around or work through or something like that?
Well, I always remember what Steve Jobs mentioned, which is you can only do great work if you love what you do. And I apply that to my everyday at Ramen Toy, which is why sometimes when people are asking for requests, I don't immediately say, yes, let's do that, let's do this, let's do that. Because first of all, you got to love what you do. And although it's the same generic uh, feel of toys, but it now gets to the specific, right? If they're asking for a certain category, a certain genre, do I have enough love for that to make it good? And that is the quintessential thing about us, that we actually have to love what we do to make the product good. So when we look at something like the Angel of Vengeance project and then the need for that particular car, then we started to study exactly what comprises that car, so we will provide that love and do it. Otherwise, if it's something that, for example, right now, if you're asking me that since the Tron has that field, will we be doing Tron? No, because I have no love for Tron. Even though
Yeah,
on my avatar there's a Tron cycle, that's because I was on the Tron ride in Shanghai during COVID, and I rode it like 7 times consecutive. So that's the reason why I had the
the
avatar on my
Tron.
Facebook. Yeah. So
Yeah,
back to your question, yeah, we definitely put in love for what we're doing, right? Every single one. When the fans ask for a tank, we started to look at how we're gonna do this, and especially because I'm from the armor infantry back in the Singapore, national service, so I know a little bit about the armor uh, regiment. So that also helps me.
well,
I've already had that experience, and I didn't hate it, right? Otherwise, I would have not do the thing, because, for example, if I had a bad experience while in the armor, then possibly I would not want to be seeing the armor in my everyday,
every day.
prototyping and work. So yeah,
Yeah,
we apply this thing about knowledge and a bit of passion, love, and then from that on, it creates a product that we hope shows the love and the attention. Yeah.
That's really cool. And speaking of your tank, I saw a preview image that you posted somewhere of camo tanks.
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, so basically again, not many people would know, but it's actually very expensive to tool the armored vehicles that we've done. So
Sure.
we've actually done tremendous tooling because it's a bridge layer, it's a whole hull, it's a whole turret of the hunter, a different turret for the phalanx, another
Mm-hmm.
whole turret thing for the amphisbaena. So
Yep.
all these thing, it's expensive tooling. And as any business, we need to make sure that our investment comes back. So one of the ways is to amortize the tooling by putting out another color scheme. So for the
Mm-hmm.
first time round, we did a simple green, and then we did some special colors like tan, right?
Tam.
So now we figured that the next thing that we've seen actually in real life tanks is the camouflage version. So it's only logical that I put out a camouflage version of the hunter for the next installment for what we're doing. Yeah.
No, I thought they look cool. I mean, I've got one of your hunters right here behind me, actually over my
Thank
shoulder.
you.
I
By the way, Chess,
Yeah,
when I saw
yeah.
the intro video and you
Uh-huh.
sort of like trying to pry open the hunter, did you
Yeah,
like
yeah.
open it from the front? You were using like a plier, like a screwdriver to open it from. You just open from the back.
I don't- yeah,
Yeah, it
I
detaches from
don't.
the back.
I should have watched my video better. I'm
Yeah,
trying to remember the exact part.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I know I did an unboxing, but not. I think I did an unboxing of the Asfina, but then did a how to take it apart of the Hunter,
Yeah.
and I went into it 100% blind. I didn't watch
Okay.
any other videos on it. Didn't take it out of the box and look at it before. I just set it there. So there's a chance I was prying on a little something when I didn't need to, but I
Right,
was
right.
figuring out on the fly. It was live, so I
Yeah,
was
no
I was
worries.
getting
Yeah, no
into it.
worries.
Yeah, but I didn't break anything. Didn't mar anything up. It was actually the one I was taking apart was a commission from a customer who wanted me to
Mm,
detail it up and stuff for him. So I was
nice,
extra careful of because it wasn't mine.
nice.
Yeah. But no, I'm excited for the camouflage ones. Even though I could paint camouflage on this, I don't have time. So there's a good chance I'll just buy one instead.
Yeah.
And I think in that picture, I don't know if you showed it completely or down in the bottom corner, there was a tan
Yeah.
one with the
Yeah.
camo as well.
So,
Yeah.
the green camouflage would be for the hunter, and the tan one is for the amphisbaena. So that is
Okay.
the yeah.
Very nice. I didn't get a chance to get one of the tan ones. I think that was a show exclusive or something like that, or you had to order it
Yeah,
at the show.
we did something for Joe Fest as an exclusive, and then
Okay.
we just hope that actually encourage more incentive for the special version. That's all.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted it. I couldn't get it, but I wanted it, so it worked. I'll be at Joe Fest this year, so
Okay,
if
great.
that's where the tan camo one's coming, I'm gonna get one.
All right.
I'm
Yep.
gonna order me one up.
There's gonna be more surprises at Joe Fest actually. So yep.
Oh, fantastic,
Yep.
fantastic! I'm displaying, so I'll have to pay my wife extra or something to watch the booth while I go out and spend all the money. But I'll make my rounds one way or the other. We did have a question in here somewhere. I started. Might be more specific than what we're getting into. It said, "Hello, Jack Customs and Ace. Question for Ace: Will the '80s Commanders blue
Yeah.
antagonistic cyborg be re-released?"
Antagonist. Yeah. So yeah,
Antagonist.
we
Wow.
will do
Yeah.
a re-release soon. So watch out for that. Yeah, it's our 5th anniversary of Ramen Toy, and then we're gonna be doing a special 5th anniversary release of the 80s Commanders, which includes the blue cyborg.
Fantastic. Fantastic. All right, we'll go on to my next question then. Oh, this is going to be another one of your instead of your favorite kid, who's your worst kid. So, which project has caused you the most issues, and how did you go about dealing with it?
Most
It's like
issues.
a job interview or something. I feel like these are the
Um,
kind of questions you get asked in that.
most issues.
Yeah.
Whew. Projects.
Have they
Let me think about that.
all had the same amount of issues?
Um, Issues. Well, issues in terms of the product or the development. I don't know. Issues.
Development, production kind of stuff. Not necessarily like things that were wrong with the product at all, but like as you were developing it or as you were tooling it or anything like that, that would have had issues that you had to overcome to get it out.
Well, the Great White had issues with the development because we went through like 5 prototypes. It was like MK1, MK2, 3, 4, and 5. We went with like the fins that were separated to coming back to having the fins part of the transformation.
Okay.
Um, Figuring out the frailty of the plastic because of the finite confined space to work with to make the transformation work, so that resulted in certain parts that needed thinner plastic,
Okay.
and thinner plastic always means more prone to breakage. So yeah, I mean, there was the Great White Gate where the fins were breaking from the back because people were just breaking it. So we had to send replacements out,
Okay.
and then we had earlier on for the 80s commanders, there was issues that was not discovered by the naked eye until it was discovered, because with all the pack holes on the body, when you do injection, sometimes or rather you're going to get some deformation. So we didn't realize it until people highlighted the issues to us. And what happened is that certain pack holes were sort of like deformed so that it wasn't the exact same circumference, and that prevented the attachment pack from attaching in, especially
Okay.
those that required like four joints. So that was an issue that we didn't discover before, and then we got to go rectify that. And then we obviously have our Quicksilver, where there was issues with the magnets being placed with reverse polarity, so that you cannot actually magnetize onto the part. Right, we're gonna go
Yeah.
and give customers replacements,
Okay.
and let's see. So yeah, every single stuff there's issues, and then we just work through it. There is really no perfect product to date. That's the thing.
Yeah. Yep. I've been running into the same magnet, well, different, but I've been starting to use some magnets in my stuff as well, and making sure I use pens to mark which sides are the outsides and insides when I put them together. So when I glue them, they're right. And yeah, I can't imagine doing that at a mass retail or even a smaller retail scale
Yeah.
when I can control it because I'm sitting here doing it myself one at a time, or telling the workforce how to do that. I can only imagine it's just a matter of time before
Right.
something doesn't get done correctly. Yeah. All right. Another big interview question here. Where do you see Ramen Toys 5 years from now?
5 years from now would be our 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I see ourselves, as long as the community is still buying stuff, we should be around, because it's all dependent on the customers, right? There is no business without customers. So liken it to a little shop that is doing F&B, and if they're selling, let's say, pasta, and if the customers stop coming, is the guy going to keep coming to the stall every day to make his pasta to sell to nobody, right? So it depends on the customer base, right? If the customer is there to support uh, the business, then we'll definitely be there. But in terms of where I see ourselves in 5 years' time, it will pretty much be the same, and maybe with more outreach. That means hopefully our business would have grown with more customers.
Sure.
Hopefully we would have taken on some IPs and be able to be known more for, well, less for third party, and then more onto the licensing stuff, because it is a very difficult uh, thing to do for licensing. As I mentioned in many of my other streams and talks, that not every license that you want is available. for a variety of reasons. And I even spoke about that at my recent AFCC little panel. So even though with the intention to want to license and do it right, there is no clear path that makes it work. Either there is no body or person that is in charge of that license that could license to you, or if they feel that your offer is not big enough, that it does not warrant them to grant you the license,
Yeah.
or that there is already players in the market, and hence because of that you are not allowed to compete with the next licensee. So a variety of things, right? So it's not as if we are here to do things the wrong way, or whatever people might call it, but it is just the way we got to start to do things, because if you don't start, you'll never get there. And it's not as if we are definitely not. I'm going off on a tangent here. So it's
No,
and
go
the
for
thing
it.
is that we are not blatantly copying somebody else's work, even though the critics will say that, oh, you're actually copying the IP, right? The
Uh,
IP, but the IP only appears as a 2D cartoon or comic. It's not available in 3D. So what we've
mhm.
created in 3D is truly unique in our own ability. So as we push on to try to get licenses, hopefully, right, in 5 years' time, I can back on the channel here saying that we talked about this 5 years ago, and here we are having so and so license, and we're in a better place. Yeah.
Fantastic. What would be the one IP that if you had no hurdles at all that you've always wanted to do that you've never been able to do for one reason or another? It doesn't really matter why the reason is, but what's that like dream IP out there that you're like, oh, if I could, I want that one right there.
I would say Motu, right? Master of the
Okay.
Universe. I grew up as a Motu child,
Okay.
and it'd be fantastic to do something for Motu to sort of give back, right? You grew up with that IP was part of your childhood. That IP, you grew up, even though it's not real life, it's toy. It gives you that imagination and that play, right?
Yeah.
What did Einstein say about play? Anyway, so that is IP that resonates deeply with me, and it'll be such a great honor to be able to do the IP with the license, and then and show off what I can do in terms of creating that environment. So it's nothing. It's not rocket science. It's either this skill or that skill, but we apply our love to it, and hopefully the product comes out looking like what it should be, and then
Mhm.
it will appeal to the fans, which I think we have proven that we can do, right? Because what we've done so far, other than critiques about being late or being expensive or being hard to buy due to our low numbers, we've shown that the stuff that we produce is actually appealing to customers. It's not as if like, oh, this is a bad sculpt, this is wrong, that is, they're saying, oh, this is good, we like what you do. So if anything, there's a clear indication to the licensors to give us, some kind of a chance to do the license. So yeah, Motu will be
Yeah.
the top of the list. And then since now we are having the mask craze, right? I would obviously love to also do a mask with the actual license to show off what we can do in terms
Hmm.
of what the other characters and vehicles out there, and then play sets and stuff like that. So yeah, those are the two top ones, and I can go on. I can go on, but you can only bite off so much. Don't bite off more than you can chew, right? There's so much to do, but you got to be focused. Otherwise, you're gonna be not in a good place. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Stretch too thin.
Yep. Stretch too
Yep.
thin.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you're coming out with a He-Man like character here before too long.
Yeah.
I see some pictures. Is that correct? The pictures I've seen look great.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that actually goes back to Columbus, Ohio, where
Okay.
the PowerCon was. I attended my first PowerCon in 2023,
Okay.
and of course, I had a prototype for show already. That means I was already working on this prior to PowerCon.
Yeah.
So I would say in early 2023, I was already working on this. And the reason why I worked on it was because it was part of the next part of Ramen's third party properties, right? So we had the 80s Commanders, we had the Silverhawk, and then the next sculpt was actually the He-Man, because again, like I mentioned, if you've not been listening for the past 5 minutes, I love He-Man, and I always thought that apart from the original Mattel He-Man that we grew up buying, every other He-Man, although good, is just missing that X factor of what I think the He-Man should be based on the mini comic that's included with the figure. When you look at the mini comic, you see all the images, the artist illustration. So you have some idea as a kid. You have some idea of what He-Man is, other than the figure that is like a 5 POA, right? So
Yeah.
we got a sculptor that was able to also understand our translation of the figure, and we got a sculpt. But of course, that primary sculpt that we showed off in PowerCon was not the final product, because that, as we went along, right? Because had we done that figure then that would be it. Like, we lack the butterfly joints. Oh, we lack that articulation is not there. So we actually spent almost 2 more years developing the figure in terms of articulation, in terms of looking at the figures that we've interacted with throughout these 2 years. We've seen the likes of I wouldn't name the company names, but we've seen this figure, that figure, we've seen that muscular body, and we're just, you may say copy, right? But isn't imitation the best form of flattery, right? Or whatever, right? So we take on the good parts that we see in each figure, and we apply it onto our figure. And then I think what we have here is something good. Again, not perfect, because again, somebody else can come in and say that, oh, this is lacking this, that's not good. Sure, because everybody is a critic, right? But I think after spending 2 years developing this, it's time to say, hey, it's good enough. Let's roll. Otherwise, we'll be spending the rest of our years just tweaking this, tweaking that, and we'll never get it done. Right? It's like a chef making some special ingredient recipe. Right? You taste it, it's missing this, missing that, and then in the end, if you don't start to serve it, then you will never get your thing out. So, what was I talking about? I forgot.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's what I went over that in one of my videos early on that I think like 5 people watched, was that at some point you have to have your stopping line, your finish line.
Yeah.
That even with me just painting these things for someone else that says, hey, I want this. Like, all right, cool, I'll do that. I could paint that for the next year and do all the little tiny things and adjust and readjust. And at some point you got to say, all right, this is good. Let's move on to the next thing, whatever it is, and just learn from what you've done so that the next one is better. I hear you saying almost the exact same thing. And I love that of any company. I wish more would do that. I think they all do in their own way, but I think some of them were working so far ahead and are so compartmentalized that by the time they make an improvement, it's 3 years down the line and everyone's upset for the last 2 years and they can't improve fast enough, maybe. So I love it. We got a few questions here. We got Patrick's asking, I think he meant Humvee here, but can you make a 1/12 scale Humvee? I think can is the wrong word. I would say the answer to can is it has to be yes. It's more
it's
of
going to be it's when,
will
right?
he, or when will he, or anything like that. Yeah.
Are Humvees like out of commission? Are they still around?
I don't think officially. I think they've been. I don't want to speak out of turn. I think they've been replaced with whatever that new big tall thing is. I forget the name of it, but they're still out there. I think they're still being used. And if, at least with the United States military, the way I've seen them work things is even if it's discontinued, it'll be out there for the next 20 years, slowly being worked out as they break down. So it'll still exist in some form.
Yeah, for sure.
MRAP. Yeah. He said MRAP is the new one. Yes. He came back, said he thought the antagonist was great, and he's going to buy another one. Scientist. Cool. There's antagonist scientist as well, huh?
That's right.
Yeah, we got some guys in here loving your stuff though. Transport 48, thanks for hanging out. I have to say I'm blown away with the 2 purchases I've recently made. My tanks are beautiful and so customizable.
Thank you so much.
Agree with that more. Yeah, the one thing I think I mentioned it in my maybe one of your streams or something I was in is I really appreciate the fact that you use screws for most of the attachment points. That there's so many out there that you mentioned earlier that I was prying on something. There's so many out there that you that's the only way you're getting it up is prying on it and hoping you don't snap a tab somewhere. That they had no intention of anyone ever taking it apart. And I liked that when I was taking apart that tank. I'm like, man, all of these little screws for every wheel, everything you can take apart, put back together. Don't have to worry about things snapping or breaking. I love that.
Yep.
I wish more people did that. Yeah. Was there a reason? I'm sure you did that intentionally because everything has some intention. Was there a reason you chose that over something else? Did you have customizers or people taking it apart in mind, or was it something you did internally for your own purposes?
No, Chess. I think using screws is the fundamental part of any manufacturable product, right? Even your hair dryer, your handphone, your mobile phone, your shaver, you can take it apart. The camera that you're having right now, it can be taken apart with screws because, of course, there's some parts there is what we call the snap fit, right? So you don't want them to pry that open. But apart from, I think snap fit is also part of the ergonomics of the product because some locations cannot afford screws, right? For the thin wall attachments that needs to be basically shells, right? You need to put together 2 shells, and that's part of most products. Every product have basically a shell, whether it's your kettle, it's your rice cooker, whatever, it's a shell. So that shell is protecting all the essential components inside that makes your product work. And those components may be taking up all the space, and to avoid more space by enlarging your shell to apply screws, you have the snap fit. And that's just fundamental product design. So it's not intentional to prevent people from opening it. It's more like, how do you want the form factor of the product to be at its most minimalistic, right? Nobody wants to overly design and overly size a product unnecessarily, right? So same thing here.
Sure.
For us to have screws is fundamental because you can't do a product that is using glue to put together because once the glue gives way, the consumer will think that it's broken, right? So especially in toys, right, you have got to have joints where it is either by screw or by pegs, so that when the peg is out, the customer is not thinking that it's broken, rather you just peg it back in. So that's just fundamental product design. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. I agree with you. I think there's a lot of, won't name any names, but other G.I. Joe companies that if there's screws in there somewhere, I can't find them.
Okay. And that's good. That means they fit in well.
Yeah. Some of them are better than others, but I've taken apart my share now, and yours was the most pleasurable to take apart.
Thank you.
I didn't have to worry about it falling apart in my hands or snapping somebody else's product. So I appreciate it personally. Yeah. All right, what do we got here?
But actually, having a customer dismantle a product is not intended because that exposes everything, right? It's back in the day. I remember this review of how they dismantled the first MacBook Air and say, "Oh, look at that! It's all like this, you know." So you're basically naked in front of the customer, like, "Oh, this is my stuff," and it's like that inside. So
it's like it's naked. It's naked. Yeah. Well, I didn't see anything in there I had any problems with. I thought everything was fantastic.
That's good. Thankfully,
what I remember is there's a lot more room in there to put things.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that part of it. Of there's options for people. I think I've seen videos of people putting RC
The
motors in the
RC,
tank.
yeah,
Yeah,
they
there's
put
room for
motors in.
that
I,
for
I was so
sure.
impressed. Yeah, I was so impressed because
Yeah,
my tank was never intended to be RC, and the fact that they found space to make it RC, I was like, oh man, these guys are great, man. You
yeah,
guys are
they're
great. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I am not into that stuff at all. I can run a remote control, but that's where it stops. So, more power to them that are doing it. It looks amazing. But that I feel like there's definitely. I mean, obviously there is, but definitely felt like there was a lot of room in there. Perfect for that and lights and stuff. I don't know if I've seen anyone put lights in it or not. I mean, it's a tank; it only has so many lights, but there's definitely room if
Exactly.
someone wants to put some
Exactly.
brake
Yeah.
lights or something on there. Yeah.
So for those who are not familiar, tanks do have headlights, and they have what they call the blackout light. So in a night
Okay.
to be in the night time to
Infrared or
be,
something.
yeah. So they have a light that covers the actual headlight, so you don't actually like beam yourself out to the
Okay.
enemy, right? So it's
Oh
called
yeah.
the BO light, blackout light, and then of course there's a brake light, and then there's internal light. That's about it. Yeah.
Internal. Yeah. And yeah, that was the other thing. The interior of that was really nice. Um, like I said, I've taken apart my share of different manufacturer stuff, and a lot of them seem to skimp on the interior, thinking nobody's going to see this, or they're not going to care about it as much, or that's just where they cut costs first, maybe.
Yeah,
I
it's
thought the
true.
interior was amazing. I
Yeah.
had to do very little detailing and stuff in there, and it just gave it a little color and left everything else
Nice.
how it was. I thought it looked great. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, son of GTO, is there anything you're looking forward to seeing at the New York Toy Fair? When's the New York Toy Fair? Is that after Chinese New
Um,
Year?
it's actually happening. I
Right
think
now?
this weekend. I
Okay,
think this
okay,
weekend. But I'm not going to the New York Toy Fair, so I just came back from the Nuremberg Toy Fair and then the Toronto Action Figure Comic Con. So I'm not actually going to be traveling to New York Toy Fair, which again I have no business to be there because it's a very domestic show. You have well, if you talk about Nuremberg, you have brands from like Europe,
hmm
Chinese factories, of course, American brands. But in New York, it's very much specific to your Jazzwares, your Spin Master, Mattel, Hasbro. So it's very specific to just the United States.
okay.
So other than that, I have no business to be in the New York Toy Fair. Yeah.
Have you gone to the New York Toy Fair in the past? I mean, you know what's
Yes,
there.
I've actually been for the first time last year when I
Okay,
went to visit Hasbro for a meeting about Mask. So yeah.
okay, all right, fantastic. I didn't see any more questions over there, so let's see. What are you most excited about that isn't yet released from Ramen Toys, or what are you most excited about of that
Oh,
is coming out?
oh. Um,
Yes.
I'm most
I know they're all
excited.
your favorite children. I know, but
Yeah, I'm most
yeah, yeah.
excited. Oh, so Toy Fair starts on Valentine's Day, February 14th.
Okay.
There you go. So
So
when
Saturday.
is that? That's
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this weekend. Like I said, this weekend. Yep. It runs
Nice.
from Saturday till Tuesday. Yeah, at the
Tuesday. Okay.
Javits. Yep. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, lots of stuff. But I think the most the impending project that I'm most excited about is our F-14. Yeah,
So, like F-14 in what scale?
in 112.
Really? Have you talked
Yeah.
about this before? I've just not.
Yeah, I
I've
talked
put
about
my
this
head
before.
under a
I think
rock
I
and not
did.
heard it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think I did talk about it before. So
Okay.
I had my reservations with the F-14 in 112 because it's going to be 1.2 meters long.
Yeah.
And being the detail orientated nerd that I am, I would not accept anything less than ultimate detail on something so big. But I
Yep.
think I'm going to be given a pass, right, by most GI Joe collectors because I see that they accepted the Rattler, and I looked at the
hmm
Rattler's detail, and I thought that if I could just apply the same detail as the Rattler, versus my own insane detail. Because, like I said, I'm a modeler, so every single panel line, the correct panel line, not just any old how, is going to be exactly what the F14 is. And there's like A model, B models, D models. So exactly which F14 you're making is going to be right, which ejection seat, which internal console that you're looking at, because different models have different consoles, primarily between the A plus and D. Sorry
Okay.
if I'm speaking jargons here, right? So,
No,
and
you're
then
good. You're good.
you have your different engines, right? So even the horizontal stabilizers are different. So
Okay.
there's so many things that's different. So exactly which F14 am I going to do for tooling this big and expensive, right? So I'm going to
Yeah.
work on that a little bit, but with the Rattler, which is basically a A10 Thunderbolt, I've noticed that what Hasbro has done is that it's actually a 20% smaller version of an actual 112 scale A10. So if I
Sure.
apply that same
Absolutely.
logic, right? If I apply that same logic, I'm going to get the F14 about the same length as the Super Mask. And if I can sell a Super Mask, our diorama, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yep. I know
Yeah,
what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, not Mr. Tesla, no. Yeah,
Yeah. Not the other mask.
the modular underground sewer command, right? So
Yes.
I sort of did a calculation, and it's exactly 48 inches, if my calculation
40.
is correct. So my
Okay.
so my so my diorama, the side by side, is 48 inches, I think, if I'm not correct, if I'm not wrong. So that would be 20% smaller. So if I can do a diorama of that length, then I can do an F14 of that length. So that
Yeah.
made me decide finally to do it, because I was torn between 112 is ridiculous to how about 118, because there's a lot of 118 collectors, but
Yep.
we have not yet done any 118 scale. So to do
Okay.
the 118 is a bit of a gamble, because even though I know there's a 118 crowd, the current crowd is 112, right? And I even
Yep.
I even contemplated of doing 124, which is our Machina
Okay.
scale, right? So if we
Yeah.
did a Machina scale, and we thought that, oh, maybe we can do F14 in Machina scale, but that's a huge risk, even though we will bring the price down totally, right? A Machina scale F14 would be maybe
Like
about this
20 some
this big,
inches, maybe.
yeah, 20 something inch. It's basically half, right? Half.
Yeah.
And I thought that maybe that will work, right? That will work. But then again, the collectors, they are a certain breed. They if they feel that this skill doesn't fit in with their collection, they don't buy it. So I
That's
sort
true.
of like, I was leaning towards 124, but I sort of scrapped it. I tried to re bring back to life the 118 idea, but I looked at all what's happening around me, and again, I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong, right? I decided that the in thing is the 112, so I'm going to go with the 112. Yeah,
Oh, I think you're right. I mean, things will always change, but I think right now you see that kind of across the board, not just in GI Joe, but Black Series, Marvel Legends, all the other smaller groups like Savage Crucibles and stuff. It's all 1/12th, and every so often you got the 1/18th, the 3.75, but at
yeah.
the 6-inch scale or 1/12 scale, whatever you want to call it, um, is is where it's at right now. Yeah. What?
And I have no illusion that if a collector buys this F14, they'll probably just buy one. Only the otaku, otaku, the really serious collector, they might buy three, right? But
Yeah.
most people, they're gonna buy one, and
Well,
that's
I
limiting
yeah,
my sales. Yeah,
I think everyone will want to buy a whole bunch of them. It's a matter of, do you
really?
have a place for them in a shelf to do anything with them? And it's anything that, I mean, I produce a bunch of 1/12 scale vehicle. They're gigantic, like any of them. So
Yeah.
I mean, I've got two Rattlers on a shelf over here, but only because
Okay.
I painted one. Otherwise, I wouldn't have a squadron of two. But my shelves are full already, and I've only been collecting
Yeah.
for a little over a year. I can't
So
imagine. Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, so there was a video that I chanced upon on YouTube, basically speaking about maybe the death of 112 scale vehicles because there's no space for
Hmm.
collectors to collect. So that's another consideration. But again, as a fan of the F14, I think this would be probably be my legacy, right? To just make something that big.
Yeah,
And we'll see what Hasbro does, because who knows, they might just do a Sky Striker uh, sometime soon. So we'll see.
maybe. My guess is if
Yeah,
they do a Sky Striker, though, it won't be true 112 scale. I think they'll scale it down like they did
exactly.
the
Same as what I'm doing. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I've got a couple orders for the Sky Striker in 112 scale, and it's close, just 3D printed, but I haven't actually printed a full one out yet. So I think I
mm,
have two on order that I've printed some pieces and parts, but I'm gonna have to put one all together. But I mean, I'm no Hasbro, no even Ramen Toys, and the number of things I sell. But there's definitely a market out there for 112 scale vehicles, as big as they are. I mean, I've sold some of the Night Ravens, and those things are 5.5 feet long. Like
wow,
I don't know where someone's putting it, but not
yeah.
my problem. Obviously, they have a spot in mind, so I think they're out there. I don't think that I don't think that's dead. I don't think that's true to say that at all. I think it's space is a concern, but there's not a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
Hasbro only does so many. The ones they do that the HasLabs and stuff that take a year or more to come out. They don't do that many in between. So to say something for anyone to say that market's dead when there's not that many of them out there doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
I think it's a smaller market. I don't think Walmart's not going to carry it, but I don't think people have a problem ordering it. I know I'll be on the list. So you've had a couple more people in here saying just sign me up for whatever.
Great.
Um,
That's good. Good to know.
so
Yeah.
yeah, the market's there. I'm excited for it. For whatever reason, I did not hear that in any of your other, or it just
Oh,
didn't compute, or I was doing something else, or what. I don't know what it was. I was unaware of that project. That's exciting. How far along in that are you? Have you seen parts and stuff already being made in samples, or are you not to that stage yet, or do you
we
not want to
already
talk about
have something in 3D, and
it?
I
Okay,
hope to, like I said, fingers crossed. If things work out, it might be at Joe Fest. I don't know.
okay,
Yeah.
I understand that. Clicking on things over here.
Hey, Jerk,
Jerk
your Dio
tuning in there.
Ramen is on its way. Yeah.
He's been talking about that the last couple of times. He's making a spot for it or something like that. Oh yeah, all kinds of people over here. Saw the image of the ramen tank that's cameled up. Yep, we just talked about that. I don't know if you were here, Bobby, but we talked about that a little earlier. He's got a couple different camo variations coming out. I know in one of your previous live streams you mentioned different things coming out for the tank. I don't know if that was if when you were saying that you were thinking about the camo, or are there different add-ons and stuff that you are still in the works for it.
Yeah. So basically, we developed the mine plow for the tank, but to actually make things less complicated for the first round, we did not include any mine plow attachments for the tank.
Okay.
That same mine plow attachment is actually the one that comes from the ramen razor. So, in the subsequent release of the tanks this year, we will have an option to include the mine plow. That's what I'm
Okay.
going to be showing. Of course, let me be first to say that it's not entirely accurate to what the real world mine plow is, because the real world mine plow would require more additional tooling, which I am not prepared to do at this point in time, because for like I said, I've already tooled a lot of stuff in terms of the tanks, and for me to further put in more money to tool just for that mine plow, which might not really have a significant difference to the collector between this and that, right? It's only very much discerning to the person, the people that really knows about what the actual thing looks like in real life.
Mhm.
Then that will be the critics that I will have to handle. But other than that, I'm just providing a option part for the tank that is already tooled. So it allows us to have a win-win with both offering it on tank and then of giving us more sales in that sense.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. And I know on the tank there's the two magnet areas for the, I forget which version of it that has the guns that plop
Mm-hmm.
in, or the
Mm-hmm.
cannons, whatever you want to call them.
Yep. Yep.
That'd be a real cool area to attach other things,
Yeah.
missile launchers, or I know you. From what I'm hearing so far, you're trying to stay true to your specific design as far as military applications. Is that correct, or are you kind of open
Well,
to whatever makes sense for you?
the conception of this modular armored vehicle is a concession, right, between what is the real life design and what we can do for a size that we think is accommodating and affordable to the collector at that point of time, which is 2 years ago, right?
Sure.
So I am still looking at how to make more accurate tanks in the future. But of course, there'll be entirely new tooling, and that's not modular, right? You can't really modular an M1 Abrams and a Makava tank because they are totally different. So, so it basically the whole idea of this modularity was to help us to save the tooling in terms of for example, if I had to do the actual bridge layer on a M60 body, then an M60 body would look weird with the M1-ish looking turret. So it was a bit of a Frankenstein that we did with this thing. So we're glad it paid off because there was no real backlash that, oh, it doesn't look like an M1, it doesn't look like a this and that, right? So it was just us trying to see what we can do in terms of our latitude on the design. And then now that the customers are okay with this, and then I see how certain collectors are pointing out about how the real life thing is like that. As I mentioned before, right, with the Mind Plow, I'm not prepared to do a new tooling just for that. But as I move into the 112 scale further on, I am really contemplating to do a real, to scale M1 tank, for example, because that would really like resonate with people in the military who will
Yeah.
really recognize it. Because obviously right now my tank is too small. They say, oh, it's not, like it's too small. So yeah, I am looking forward to further developing more real life tanks in that scale. So it's a step-by-step process.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not from the military. I have no background in tanks, but I thought it fit the characters perfect. It fit the figures great. I, there are things out there that look too big or too small once you get a figure in it, and it looks
Yeah.
kind of off or weird. And I didn't think that for half a second on any of your tanks. So I looked fine to me. But I can see if you
Yeah,
spend
we
every day working on one, it was you'd pick out the single bolt you got wrong somewhere. Like, oh no, I stared at that every day. You didn't have it right. So there'll always be those people out there. I'm not too worried about that. Um, what we got? Some questions here. Would you ever consider doing the 112 scale battle stations? I'm guessing like the water battle station and the headquarters,
I think that the
or
fort.
yeah, I don't know if they called that a battle station or the headquarters or whatever they called it, something like that.
We can do basically anything, but again, it involves time to sculpt it out. It
Hmm.
involves a lot of money to tool it, and it requires the demand to fulfill all these things. So anything is possible, but we just need to make sure that there is enough demand because we're working on so many projects now, and it's evident that some projects are not as viable as others. So along the way, we sort of navigate our way and then try to just obtain a more stable roadmap to do stuff. So hopefully that's how it goes.
Yeah, yeah. I think anyone asking, would you be willing to do this? The answer is yes. Like it's more of a
Yeah,
matter of
why not?
like, well, how does it fit into my company? At what point can
Yeah.
I fit it in? Where's the money coming from to do the
Yeah.
tooling initially and get everything going? Absolutely. I'm sure if you could click your fingers and make everything would be made already and be done, good, ready to go. Ace is gonna make me broke. I don't disagree.
Oh man.
What do we see in here? Super Musk. So yeah, is the Super Musk? It's shipping now.
Oh yeah, it's already shipping. So
Okay.
yeah, we have already. I guess some folks nearby already gotten theirs, like in Japan.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep. Good deal. And Jerk's soon to get his, as we already talked about. Okay, here we got another. Would you consider? We already know what the answer is. We just need to know the background, I suppose. Consider adding an assault amphibious vehicle to the ramen motor pool. Need a good vehicle for the black. It's true. We got some water stuff coming out here, like it or not.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not a water person, so I think the only naval vessel that was most intrigued with is the German U-boat.
Okay.
Other than that, other ships and fast craft, I don't have the kind of passion as I have towards aircraft first and then tanks second. So we'll see. Yeah.
I think a lot of at least military water vessels, a lot of them they're either real small and you got one or two people in them, or they're gigantic that would take up a room. I'm not aware of any vehicles that would man 3 or 4 people. Usually it's 1 or 2, so they're fast like jet ski kind of stuff to get in, or it's you got 50 to thousands of people on them one way or the other. I think it's a hard space to get into if you're trying to stay true to military size vehicles,
right?
And not just making up your own like Hasbro and GI Joe does. And that's probably why they made up some of their own. Was we have to. Yeah. We got Dokus here saying, Ace, have you thought of making another lower level on the train station for the Super Mus? I'm guessing the Turtles 3, where they had the train station down.
Yeah, this one is tough. Yeah, this is tough because in a train platform, it's much longer without pillars in between. So what we have now is that we have a pillar in between for the elongated diorama. So if you don't have that centerpiece, what's going to support the top structure?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's all about physics and structural integrity. So although we would like to have it, it would be a nice idea, right? To have I believe the street section and then the subway section and then the sewer, right? You can't have the sewer and then the subway. So it's the street, the subway, and then the sewer, right? But if you have that whole part of the platform without a center divider, then how am I going to support the top part? So we thought about that, but right now we can't mathematically calculate the physics, so we're gonna have to.
Just got to make some
ramen
artistic adjustments and just make your own little pillars around. I don't know.
Man, yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Something I don't know. Yeah, that's an interesting thought. Since Turtles did have that was the least liked movie from what I understand, though. So I'm not sure the same market would be there just for Turtles, but you could use that for all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, we'll see.
Oh, we're talking about boats. I'd be happy if it can hold 6 to 8 figures. Even that's a good sized boat, man. That's not small.
Yeah, fast craft.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the GI Joe hydrofoil. It's a good sized boat, but it's still 1/12 scale. It's good size still. Convert the sewer into the pit. Oh, the pit. GI Joe headquarters, where they have the pit that goes down into layers or whatever it is, however many layers it is. Suppose you could do that. Yep. If you rode a subway in New York, the subway might be above.
All right. Oh, so yeah, I've rode the New York subway, the A train, B train. I don't know.
One of those.
I think what he meant is that the subway actually goes outside and above versus in the subway. Yeah.
Instead of below.
Yeah.
See that? Oh, above above the sewer. Is that what you meant? Sewer might be above. I don't know. I don't know what he's saying. But it sounds like the physics
I
are the
think
issue
this is
anyway. Doesn't matter.
outside. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So maybe a standalone subway at some point down the line. How about that?
maybe. Yeah,
Yeah. Who knows? There's always a
yeah. The
maybe, right?
subway will be a good diorama as well for like the Matrix.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's true. Even Marvel Legends and stuff, battle scene in the subway.
yeah,
I can see it
yeah,
applying across several different brands.
yeah.
Absolutely. I wanted to ask something about the F-14 that I thought of when we were talking about that to backtrack a little bit.
Okay, okay.
I'm trying to think. The tanks are the only ones I have from you. The vehicles. I didn't make it in time for the vans or the racer. F-14 going to have lights in it?
It should have.
Should.
I would reference the Rattler and take
Yeah.
notes from there.
Okay.
So yeah.
So interior lights and maybe some wing lights or whatever else you can get to. But I know we talked about lights on the tank.
Does the Rattler have wing lights? No, right?
Not on the ends. No, you're right. They kept everything close because the wings
attached.
fold. Yeah, they probably couldn't. Ship it at the same time as.
No, but it's possible. It's possible for wing lights. Yeah, because nowadays we can attach the chip with the small battery separately and activate by magnets. So it is possible for the wing lights. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they're putting them in. I just had a figure the other day. I talked to Zakanin about an Illidan figure that had lights in his eyes, and all the batteries, everything was up in his head, and still had room to fit on a peg. So you're talking microscopic, but it worked. Yeah, I can see that. Okay, that's some cool stuff. What when you were looking and researching the Rattler to get into this project, what do you want to improve upon? Like, what did you see?
Well, I've actually not yet researched the Rattler. I just bought one, but it's still sitting in the box.
Gotcha.
I've been so busy. But the reason why I bought the Rattler is to check the quality of the plastic.
Sure.
And certain other aspects of how toyish it is versus what I would do to make it more realistic, more than toy. So, I mean, I've my whole background making die-cast aircraft since like 10 years ago. So, like I said, my first aircraft that I made was the F-14. You guys can go Google Caliber Wings F-14. You will see my stuff.
Okay.
So that's why I was mentioning that, if I do something in 112, first of all, I'm compromising on the scale. It's not going to be exact 112. It's going to be 20% shorter.
Sure.
And when I do shorter, I got to make sure that all the parts are equally reduced versus I just like crop it 20%, right? So I'll make it as best as possible because the shape is very important, right? The shape of the F-14 is quintessential. I cannot deface it. So that's number one. I'm going to make my best ability to make the F-14 look as nice as possible, smaller, and then I'm going to think about how I can make it better than what the Rattler has in terms of detail. And that it would be my bottom line, because any more work that I put in would just make it more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, one thing I know I just thought of while you were talking that the Rattler was missing, that the F-14 would look really cool, is thruster lights. So out of the back exhaust thrusters that have lights coming out of there. That'd be kind of cool. I lose him. I lost Ace. He'll come back around. Don't you worry. So while we're waiting on him to reconnect maybe here, or unfreeze, anyone have any questions that you haven't already asked? So go ahead and load the chat up with him. When he gets back, I will go down through the question charts. See what we got going on. I'll take this time to remind everyone about the code down below. Stream 10, if you need anything off of GI Customs, you'll get 10% off during the stream. That'll last, I think, until midnight tonight, so you take advantage of that while we're here. And if any orders come through, I will call them out on stream. Even though last time, I believe, Patrick, I forgot to call you out because I think you ordered a T-shirt, and I saw it and then got busy talking, and I didn't. So here's your call out, man. I know you ordered a T-shirt last time, and I appreciate it very much. What else do we have going on here while we're waiting? Also, I know PB or Patrick over there is our first channel member. Did just start this week. Got membership and super chats and all that kind of stuff. So if you feel so inclined to take advantage of that, please do so. I appreciate it very much. Helps me keep doing these live streams and stuff with YouTube. I do have some things in plans and in the works for channel members. So definitely take advantage of that while you can.
How about
You're
that?
back. No problem.
I got hit by the internet bug. Yeah, lost connection.
I was just asking for some questions and stuff over here, so we'll see as they start chiming in. But glad you made it back to us. All right. So what's next on the horizon for Ramen Toys? Anything that you're looking to or looking to get into that you haven't already, or anything like that? More recent than the 5 years and stuff that we were talking about?
Yeah, so we are currently looking at a very packed year. I mean, the year goes by just so fast.
Mm-hmm.
It is our 5th anniversary this year. So I'm going to be designing some new caps for the 5th anniversary. Thank you. And then we're going to be at our tour started in January when we were at the Action Figure Comic Con in Toronto, and then I will be next traveling to Motuniverse in May, and then it's going to be a quick succession of May, June, Joe Fest, July, SDCC, and it's coming up real fast. We're going to have lots of work to do in terms of getting all the samples and products, prototypes ready for the shows. In terms of development, we are working on some licensing deals, hopefully, which I will let you guys know as and when there's more concrete developments. But things are looking busy, and we hope that what we do will continue to excite the fans. Yeah,
absolutely. I mean, everyone seems excited about everything you are able to mention, so I can only imagine the other things coming up. I don't see any other reaction to it. What do we got here? Oh, is there any behind the scenes progress on Titanium Titans? Also, do you have an IP license that is your grail? We already talked about the grail. That was Motu.
Yeah,
you weren't here. It was Motu. That's his dream someday to get there. What about Titanium Titans? Any behind the scenes progress?
Yeah, Titanium Titans is definitely on hiatus at the moment, because I mentioned this a few months back about I guess creative differences between creator and ourselves being the toy manufacturer. So it's currently on hiatus until further notice, unfortunately. Yep.
Hey, sometimes that happens, man. You gotta roll with the punches a little bit.
Yeah.
As we wait for more questions here, I know one of your live streams I brought up a possibility for police cars. I think people threw different things out there. Crown Vic was the one that struck me right away.
Crown Vic.
That thing's existed for 40 years or something crazy. It's barely changed at all. Any thoughts about any of that outside of yes, I would love to someday?
Yeah, that's actually on my list of things to do. And I am basically trying to juggle between whether we get a license for the car or just go ahead without. So it's all things that we are tackling right now, as well as the Trans Am from I think it's Smokey and the Bandits. Lots of stuff. I mean, there's so much stuff to do, right? And we really have only a small team and 24 hours a day. So we're doing our best, guys. We're really doing our best. So please do be patient and accept our apologies if we are not as fast as maybe some would hope for. Yeah.
Oh, like I said, everyone wants you to snap your fingers and just make it happen. So I understand
Yeah.
both sides. I understand the impatience. Yes, we want everything right now, but I also understand like that's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
Uh, anything that's coming right now has already been in the works for years. So um, I don't know
Yeah.
if
It
you've
basically
seen it.
takes.
Go ahead.
Sorry. So it basically takes a good 6 months minimum to a year to develop
Mhm.
anything that is of substance, right? We can easily throw up a, a figure with no articulation, but to get the function, to get the shape and everything, it takes more than that.
Yeah,
So that's why our machina is like one a year, because it takes that amount of time to prototype and do stuff. And had we been a bigger company with more resources, more engineers, of course we can do multiple projects at once. But that is sadly not the case. We are
yeah,
just myself doing the development, and there is a sculptor or two helping us with the stuff. There's an engineer or two helping us out with the sequence and the function. But that's about it. It's a very almost I wouldn't say mom and pop, but it's definitely a small setup. Yeah.
sure. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't know because they haven't been in it. Is once you start adding licensing into that, that adds a whole nother round of revisions and sending things to the licensor, and then them
Yeah.
coming back with their own revisions.
Yeah.
Even with
That's the
just
worst.
cars, I mean, I worked for Greenlight Collectibles, so we did diecast cars
Oh,
and
green
back and
light.
forth. Yeah, yeah, you know Greenlight.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's been bought over by a Hong Kong company, actually. Do you know that?
oh, has it really? No, no.
Yeah.
So I worked
So
there.
Greenlight is a US company, right? So
Yeah.
it has as of my knowledge, at least 2 years ago, it was
Okay.
bought over completely by a Hong Kong entity. Yeah.
Interesting. No, I did not. I was not
Yeah.
aware of that.
Yeah.
I know while I was there, it has changed hands several times because I
Okay.
left because they got bought out by a group of investors and they started changing a bunch of stuff, and
Ah,
I just
okay.
needed it was time to go. But they then sold it to somebody else, and then apparently they sold it to somebody else. I don't know, but
Okay.
I was production product development manager, and I remember going back and forth with Ford and Chevy and everything else, and I'd
Ah,
make all my notes to the factories, and then have to send it there, and then send them another round of notes of Ford doesn't like this curve right here. We gotta shape it to this line, and it adds time and complexity to everything that nobody sees. Nobody knows that that's happening behind the scenes unless you've been there. But hopefully, we can shed a little light on it for somebody. But
yeah.
I
If
do
you if you
have,
Google
yeah,
if you Google green light diecast ownership, you
yeah,
will see that the first thing that appears is Walterson's Industries Group. See,
interesting.
it's
I,
right there.
I,
Just Google it. It's right there. Yeah.
I'll have to look that up. I went on their website not that long
Yeah.
ago to check again. I haven't been there in quite a few years. Yeah, I noticed they did a rebranding and stuff not that long ago, so I bet that was around the same time of changed their logo and stuff a little bit, and they're still using some of the logos and lines and stuff that I worked on when I was there. They're still going strong. Hot Pursuit, Black Bandit, a couple other ones that I worked on the logos and stuff with the designers, and they're still kicking, that's for sure. But good for them if
Yep.
things are going well. Fantastic. However it works out for them. Um, I don't believe I know anybody that works there anymore. Last I looked, they're 100% new people everywhere. So can't even reach out to anybody and see what's going on because I don't know anyone anymore. But have you seen that I came out with these magnetic police lights?
Oh no.
So I have one with the
How do
magnets
they
on
work?
here. So they're universal. So they'll go on anything that has a plastic top. This goes inside
Okay.
the vehicle, and then clip on over top, and it stays on through the
Okay.
plastic top.
Okay.
I
And
just came out with them last week. I got some other
what's the
versions in the
size?
works. What? Huh?
What's the
What'd you ask?
size of that? The
Size?
size? Yeah.
Size this big?
I mean,
It's
does it fit a 1/12 scale car or something?
yeah. So the 112 scale cars are weird. Let me grab a stinger here. So the stingers are smaller than a real car would be sometimes. Um, so they look a little bigger on a stinger. So if I pop this on the roof here, so it just
Okay.
clicks on underneath, and then it holds the magnet through the plastic
Wow. Okay.
and goes right on. So it looks, I would say it's a little oversized
Okay.
on this, but when you get it on the
Okay.
Valaverse, whatever the Valaverse
Oh,
one is called, that one's a
interesting.
bigger vehicle, so it looks a little more scaled. So they're all different sizes. The only ones I haven't been able to try it on is the Ramen Racer and the van
Mm,
to
okay.
confirm. So I'm hoping to pick one or two of those up here at some point and
Okay.
give it a shot. But try to give people a little option to turn whatever they have into a police vehicle of some kind, even though it doesn't change the vehicle itself, doesn't add police livery or anything to it, but gives
Right.
them at least a light bar option. So as we were talking about police cars there, had some of these sitting here going over them. So got some more stuff in the works along those same lines, but I think any of that would go great on the stuff that I've seen so far. Obviously, they're not going to go on the tanks. Not that I've seen. If
No.
someone wants to make that work, go for it. Yeah. Any other questions in the chat? I haven't seen any questions other than the will you do this? Will you do that? What do we have over here? Oh, here we go. I think you mentioned it
So
already. The license for
yeah,
Pontiac Trans Am.
yeah, we are working on that. So no luck yet.
Are you trying for the license for the Trans Am as well as the movie license for the movie car, or just gonna make a Trans Am and if it happens to look like the movie car, it happens to look like the movie car?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's whether we go for the movie or we go for the car. So I am working on that with the IP lawyer to see what's the best route of advance.
Route. My 2 cents, having done some of the movie stuff with Greenlight, is movie stuff is so complex. I remember
Okay.
we got the license for, or we got a deal worked with Universal Pictures,
Mm-hmm.
and I think our thought initially was you get that deal and you have rights to all their movies. Nope, you have the okay to go get the rights for the movies. So then
I
every
see.
movie was owned by some other company or some person, and every little thing
Yeah.
I remember we wanted to
Yeah.
do and had lined up was like, oh, well, we got
Yeah.
this part of the license, but it doesn't really matter because you have to go and get this part of the license, and then there's a guarantee from Universal plus the guarantee to whoever else owns the end. Like it was
Yeah.
complex. Now they're still doing it, so it must be worth it. But I remember it being we thought it was going to be more black and white than it was, and it was a whole lot of gray.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I
that was
think
20 years ago. Maybe it's different now.
the whole thing with this licensing is yes, there is licensing. Yes, there is rights. And that's when it gets complicated because, for example, when Mattel is doing the He-Man figures from the movie, they can't get the Dolph Lundgren likeness because maybe he doesn't allow his likeness to be given,
Mm-hmm.
and Tom Cruise does not allow his likeness to be given, does not license it. So when you respect the individuals, right? If you respect you have to respect the individual's right to not license their likeness.
Sure.
But there's the other side of the coin where you have all these collectors that's dying to get a little likeness of you as a figure because you have spoken to them when they watch your movies, when they watch, you have spoken to them. You have basically given yourself when you did that movie, right? You have given yourself to the fans. So what is that thing that is preventing yourself to be as a little action figure for that minute niche group of people that just idolizes you for your role in the whole thing, right? I can understand. Really, it's like don't make my face. I don't want it. That's my right as a human being. As a yes, I understand all that. Yes, I understand. But don't you also understand that when you did all this, what did you do it for? And
Yeah.
then again, it's also sometimes unreasonable to be demanding certain compensation later down the road for something that you were already compensated for back in the day. Although, yes, you can say that, but that was back then. But now you're making a new figure. So now you should be compensated. Yeah, okay, fine. We will compensate. But it has to be within reason. If we did a 1,000 unit production of Tom Cruise, how much money does he want? How
Yeah.
much of that money does he really need? So, but true enough, for different celebrities, not all celebrities are multi-millionaires through the years. You have seen some celebrities who have now, fallen, right? Not in the best financial state. So maybe they need the money. But then again, those celebrities, are they the ones that we are idolizing to have the figures of their faces? So it's really about that balance, right? So if
Yeah.
we love Dolph and we want to have Dolph as He-Man as a figure, how much money do you need, Dolph? Right? Obviously, what you're asking for, we can't afford, right? So you got to be realistic. It's the same thing with when I go to the first time when I was ever at San Diego Comic Con and I saw Ric Flair. I was like, oh man. But when I saw that I need to pay like $50 just to have take a picture of him, I was like, okay, I don't have $50. So, that was back then, right? In
Yeah.
2017 or 16, 14. So I mean, $50 is $50, right? I've already traveled, a few $1,000 of airfare, accommodation, you know. Maybe you'll say, what's $50, right? But then again, Mr. Woo, what's $50 to you? Maybe I don't know. So it's debatable. It's debatable, right? It's
Oh yeah.
debatable. Licensing, we understand, but it gets complicated when you have, this tier and that tier. You got to seek approval here, approval there. Then you will never get things done. You will never
Yep.
get things done for a small. At the end of the day, they say does the what justify the juice, right? Does the squeeze justify
Oh
the
yeah.
juice, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
So it doesn't justify most of the time.
Well, yeah. One,
Yeah.
you'll take a $20 figure and have to charge $40 for it because you're paying three different licensors their cut of the pie, and you still got to do enough to be a
Yeah.
successful business. Like
Yeah.
yeah, it muddies the water on all sides.
And don't get me wrong, I understand. I understand money needs to be paid. For example, if somebody made a figure of me, I would like to be paid for that. So same thing, right? It works both ways. But
Sure.
you got to be realistic on exactly what you command.
Yeah.
And once you command that, you got to be realistic as well. I mean, on the human side, does Tom Cruise really need that money that we're going to pay him for his likeness? I mean,
No,
come
he
on.
just
So,
wants it. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
The thing in
I digress. I
licensing
digress.
yeah, the thing in licensing that always astounded me when I was working with it, and I didn't work directly with it, just was around it enough and heard it, um, was the guarantees that came along with licensing. It wasn't just like, yes, we're going to take 7% of everything. Like, okay, but then it's, well, you have to make us $50,000, or you have to write us a check for $50,000. Like if your 7% only makes us 10 grand because it doesn't sell very well, or you're writing us a
Yeah.
check for the rest, like we don't care. And yeah, the amount of money that's on some of those things, especially when you start talking movies and cars, and like, holy cow, like, wait, I have to sell how many of those to get the
Yeah.
money that you want? So yeah,
Yeah.
and that was, like I said, that was 20 years ago. I don't know if it's gotten better or worse, probably a little of both since then. So I'm sure it's a whole nother nightmare now, and I hope to never have to work with it again. So I more power to you for trying to fight through it, and I'm glad you got at least a lawyer taking care of you, that you're not trying to work with those crazy people by yourself. That would be,
Yep.
I can only imagine that would be a nightmare. I'm pretty sure, I mean, we had to have had a lawyer at Greenlight. I don't know why we wouldn't have. I never saw anybody, but I was in on some of the calls that I didn't understand everything that was happening. I just know there was a whole lot of money being promised on different things that didn't make any sense to me, and we had to sell hundreds of thousands of units to even break even on.
Yeah.
It's an interesting world that most people just don't know about.
Yep, they don't
Yeah.
know about it. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So is Dolph's juice worth the squeeze? Man. I don't know about that one. I don't know about that one. All right. Well, we got some other streams and stuff competing with us here. I think we're losing a few people from time to time. Is there anything else that you want to talk about or go over, or any tangents you want to talk to the community about, as this will be uploaded to YouTube and stuff as soon as this is done? Anything like that you want to get out there?
I think that's all for me at the moment. I've just really come back from an extensive travel, met great people at the shows, established new acquaintances and opportunities. Back home, I got stuff to attend to, projects to manage, customers to fulfill. So let me get back to that. And then once we have the opportunity to talk again, I'll be back on your show to go through the stuff again. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, I sincerely appreciate your time. I reached out to you, not really thinking or not really knowing what your schedule was, just knowing you were busy, and I'm very grateful that you made the time and effort to come on my show. I'm not sitting at millions or thousands of people, so it's appreciated very much. I have you back on whenever you got something new. You send me a message if you want to get it out there, and I'm the one you want to put it out there with. I'll be happy to say yes at any point.
Yeah.
I appreciate all your work and all the stuff that you're doing. Thank you. And I know there's other people out there doing it. Yes. I'll be there. I'll be looking for you. I won't walk by you or anything. Not say anything. Are you gonna have? I assume Ramen's gonna have a booth there, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And hopefully an F-14 somewhere.
Like I said, I'm hopeful, but it's a bit challenging. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah,
sure. Fantastic. I mean, I'd settle for a cockpit piece just by itself. Would be amazing. So if you have pieces, I'm sure people would love to see it. I think it'll be a talk of the show. I don't know anyone else making that big of 1/12 scale vehicles at any level of actual production outside of 3D printing. So I know I'll go ahead and speak for everyone else and say that we would love to see it, any parts of it. So I appreciate it, and have a good rest of the time. Enjoy your Chinese New Year off. Are you able to shut down and escape for a while and spend some time with your family and stuff?
Yes, we will be shutting off for a while, but of course I'm always online, so you can always see me online. Sure. It's never shut off for me.
Well, yeah, I know the people at the factory shut down, but I also know your management doesn't exactly always get the same privileges or time off or whatever you want to call it. The gears are always turning. Yep. All right. Well, if there's no more questions or anything, I appreciate everyone that's here. Again, the 10% off on my site, Stream 10 code will be good through the rest of the evening. Hopefully next Tuesday, I got a show coming up, got another guest coming on there. And then I think by then I'll have things worked out to have a members only stream afterwards. So if you want to stay tuned and get some behind the scenes stuff next Tuesday, definitely plan for that or whatever you have to do. I appreciate it, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
See ya.
It's that time. Grab a seat, snack in hand, set to geek. Tastic heroes on the screen. Dream it up, breathe the scene. G.I. Joe on the table, new ideas on the way. Paint and polish on the cable. Every single Tuesday Toy Talk. We're dialing in, building up worlds with a crazy grin. 3D printing, custom paint on the go. Tuesday
Tuesday Toy Talk.